Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. I'm joined here by super fans Devin, Heath, and Riley from the East Coast. And this is the week 2 recap of Jungle Talk. Yeah. Um, guys, so much to talk about. And I will get the biggest thing for me, and I'll get to it in a second. But if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. We do these shows for you right after the game. Hit the alert button, hit the bell so you get the notifications, and please give us the thumbs up on YouTube. It helps us with the analytics. My biggest problem, and we talk about this all the time, and we've got lots to talk about, situational football. And usually I talk about it on third down. But today we kept screwing up second down to no end. We had them in a second and 22. We let them get to a 3rd and 3. We have them in a 2nd and 10. We let them get to a 2nd and 2. You can't ask your defensive line to continually stop 1 or 2 yards. Situational football today, we constantly let them get into 3rd and short, and sometimes they were massive gains. The second half one, I was looking at Heath. We were in a 2nd and 22. I said, just keep it at 3rd and 15, and we gave up 19 to Andrews over the middle. It was like, and then you're asking your defensive line. And I have problems with the way the defensive line played. We'll get into that. But I'm throwing out there my first biggest disappointment today was our situational football, especially on second down. I mean, am I wrong?
No, not at all.
Not been bad.
Not at all. The defense kept us in the game last week. The defense was very, very poor today. First half, everything in the middle of the field was way too easy, way too wide open. I don't think that was on linebackers. I don't know if it's on safeties. I always say it, but I'm not smart enough to know that. But they killed us over the middle of the first half. Second halves were dreadful in the second half. Look, give Lamar credit. He's tough to stop. He's an absolute freak, elite when he's healthy. He's always killed us, and he absolutely killed us today.
Yeah, you know what? I know we're going to get trolled a lot, and I appreciate the views from the Baltimore fans because we're going to be one of the few shows, and they're going to troll us. Guys, I'm not taking anything away from you guys. You came in a hostile crowd, a must-win game for us. You executed your game plan perfectly. They made the plays. We didn't. There were 2 pivotal plays that cost us big. The penalties in the first half, that penalty when Logan Wilson gets the fumble inside the 10, and then we did it to ourselves. Joe's got a lead T on that touch. We're in the red zone. We could have gone score to start the coming out of the locker room at half, and we go turnover. We drive the length of the field and turn the ball over.
That was a real bad pass. T was streaking. They never put up a good angle to see where I forgot the guy's name that got the interception, where he came from, but clearly Joe never saw him. I would have loved to have seen what that looked like from behind. But clearly
I saw
Joe
the behind play.
What's that?
I saw the behind view. He needs to lead T, so either T catches it or it's over T's head, and he goes underneath, so it's caught. If you throw that ball where it's supposed to be, it's either caught by T or it's incomplete.
Right.
So,
my 15-year-old son watching that play made the comment, it looked like he was standing wide open in the end zone. He threw the ball like T was standing there with nobody anywhere near him, and it was a lazy throw.
We couldn't overcome those 2 plays. We couldn't overcome those 2 plays. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Burrow is not sharp at all. I don't know if it's lack of reps, lack of training camp, not trusting the leg. They said it multiple times on the broadcast. He's not the same mobile. Joe Burrow was a little more mobile today, but he looks panicked in the pocket. The line's doing fine, not great, but they're doing fine. His balls are not crisp. He's not hitting guys in spots that he had in previous years. He's not there yet.
Yeah.
The question that Mark and I were talking about, and Riley mentioned something today to a different effect. Irv Smith has just not been the Hayden Hurst that we were expecting last year. I mean, Hayden Hurst was there for the dump pass. He'd run through tackles. Irv showed up with a couple of catches, but, we're not running people over, and that tight end spot's got to be a release point, a safety spot.
He's been disappointing. Heath, Riley, you want to add something to that?
I mean, kind of along the same idea. If Jamar Chase is our 4th receiver on the board for the day, it's not a good day for this
No,
team.
no.
If
Good point.
Mixon is our third ahead of Chase, it's not a good day.
So,
The
Yep.
one thing I was going to say before, you said you jumped to the offensive side when you were saying situational football. At the end of the day, we got next to zero pressure on Lamar.
Okay, well, that was the other. Yeah, that's my other beef. The defensive line, Hubbard and Hendrickson did not contain. You're supposed to trust your guys and force them back in. Even on the last possession where Lamar's rolling out, and I said he's going to get the first down, Hubbard doesn't keep his outside. He goes back inside. Trust Reader, trust Hill. Force Lamar back in the middle. You have to make it. We didn't get pressure from the outside, and we constantly lost contain. And our defensive line, I was just especially with two starters out for the Ravens. I mean, they were missing two of their starters, and yet our line underperformed. Very disappointing today.
You want to bounce from defense to offense for a moment. They had a ton on the defensive backfield that they were missing too. And to Riley's point and Devin's point, we never had something down the field. I mean, the longest attempt we had down the field was to Irv Smith on the wideout in the first quarter, where he only got 1 foot in.
In the end,
very frustrating.
They made plays. When we scored a touchdown, even after we get picked, we come out of the locker room, we drive down the field, looks like we're going to score, and we throw the pick, right? What's the first play? Then we get the ball back and we score a touchdown. What's the first thing that they did the next play? They hit a bomb down the field.
80 yards,
guys
80
made
yards,
the catch.
80 yards and made a play.
Yeah. I mean, they made catches. They made plays. We didn't make them today. The Ravens came in, executed their game plan, and made the plays they needed to make. We did exactly the opposite. We did not make the plays we needed to make.
And I'll tell you what, to Riley's point before, number 1 didn't make the plays either. I mean, number 5 showed up and wanted and said, "Hey, I know we're not negotiating my contract the rest of this during this season," but he showed number 1 stats today. I don't know where Jamar was. I mean, getting Jamar 1 yard deep in the backfield to catch a swing pass. I mean, we see that 2, 3, 4 times today.
Yeah,
I don't know what you can put on Jamar. He probably had 3 or 4 targets top.
That's why I don't mind so much when Jamar has a quiet day if T has a big day. But to Riley's point, you can't have him be number 4 in targets, and you just, like I said, it's so frustrating to watch this team. Like I said, we could still, with everything we've said, we could have won this game if we didn't have the pick and we didn't have the penalty. So
yeah, I mean, that's the thing I was just thinking about. I mean, it's a 3-point game. As bad as we were, it's a 3-point game. But the end of the day is we've been bad 2 weeks in a row.
But you look all the time. How many times were we in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2? Every single time. So in the first half, we were in 2nd and 1 and 2nd and 2. At least but the second down, situational football, keeping it in possession, keeping it in a manageable 3rd down. You talk about manageable 3rd downs from the offensive side. We need a manageable, putting it at 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1. You can't expect your defensive line to continually stop that. Not with the Ravens running game. You just can't.
I'm going to say one other thing that you and I talked about a lot last week, and even more so this week. Our rookie punter has not helped give us any reverse of a field position. He has been an atrocity. Last week, we gave it to him because of the weather.
Yeah.
This week, it's beautiful weather. There was no excuse. A 41-yard punt.
Yeah, it was when we were trying to pin the Ravens back and we had to punt, and he punted it 41 yards, and they fielded it at the 30, and the hang time was even high enough. The guy didn't even fair catch it. So he didn't have hang time and he didn't have distance.
No, he fair caught it. No, it's a 1-yard return.
No, he caught it and tried to return it. I was like,
you ran that one back.
I'm telling you, we can't punt from our 30 and only get it to their 30. You just can't do that.
I will say we only punted 3 times. One of them was inside the 20. I mean, small sample size. Let's hope that's the case.
He was punting from the 50. He better punt it within the 10.
That was the one punt he got inside the 20.
It wasn't because he was booming it.
And it was at like the 11-yard line. He didn't even have it come down inside the 10.
Yeah.
So the guy caught it.
One thing I wanted to say before we moved on to the punter is let's not lose sight of the fact that if it wasn't for a punt return touchdown, which I don't know how that wasn't called back. I saw the play that the
No,
flag
no,
was
no.
shown.
He didn't make
We
contact
didn't
from
think
that
it
angle.
was.
He did not.
Okay.
It was a good
All
no.
right.
I give that
Yeah.
free crew as bad as the call that where they had us. Odell grabs our guy and somehow we
That
get
was terrible. That was terrible. But if not for a punt return touchdown and Baltimore absolutely killing themselves with penalties, second week in a row, we're down 14, 17 points at halftime.
Yeah, no, it's
Or should have been, excuse me, second week in a row, we should have been down by more than 2 touchdowns at halftime.
but
I got a question, Riley. You're back on the East Coast. Was it as bad on the East Coast as it was out here on the West Coast or the western side of the states?
The game,
Yes,
it was bad everywhere it was played.
any Bengal fan watching it from anywhere on planet Earth, you could be watching it from the International Space Station. If you're a Bengal fan on the space station, it looked bad. No, it was just a hard game to watch, and I'm not taking anything away from the Ravens. I'm not blaming officials. I'm not blaming them because, like I said, the officials getting together and talking about that play, they actually got the play right. From a certain angle, it looked like the guy was pushed, but there was no contact from another angle. So no call.
One thing
Well,
I
when they
do
were
wanna
talking
say-
about it, I said to my son, I said, I'm praying right here or begging for something that's never happened in the history of the NFL. A flag on a play like that's never getting picked up. They talked about it for a while. I got a little hopeful, and Brady turned to me and laughed because apparently I got something that has never happened in the history of the NFL.
Well, the flag came from a guy 20 yards down the field, and a person with another angle. You would see they were both moving back, and there was no contact when he went down. So it was a good no call. It was a good picking up the flag, and they did botch some calls. But listen, the Ravens came in and executed their plan, made plays. We did not. You know, when you have a bad round in golf, you go, I didn't make putts. It's that simple. And we didn't make putts today. You know,
or drives or chips or irons.
Or well, you know, we had a couple approach shots, but then choked the putt. So just to use golf analogies for this year, I have big chunk plays. How many times did we come out and we get up a 20-yard run on the first play of the drive? A huge pass on the first play of the drive. It was like, just you work so hard to get the score, and then the first play you give up these huge chunk plays. I just have so many things that down here on on this thing that here's one that drove me nuts. I just saw my thing. Remember when Justin Tucker misses, so they get the touchdown, then they get the ball back, and then Justin Tucker misses the field goal. We get the ball at the 49-yard line. The 49-yard line. We gained 2 yards on that possession and punted. That was your punt.
That was my punt, 41-yard punt. Yeah.
I was like, really? I mean, we're 1 first down away from getting into money mac range and at least punching. You just cannot get the ball at the 49. They missed a 59-yarder. We get it at the 49. We gained 2 yards in punt on that series.
And it's probably the first time
Justin. Go.
I was just gonna say it's probably the first time in the history that Justin Tucker's missed a field goal against the Bengals because he never misses.
And that was a 59-yarder in his defense. So
no, I know, but he never misses against us.
No.
You know, to Devin's point, just Joe, I mean, whatever the excuses are, he just doesn't look himself. I mean, that ball to Jamar Chase in the end zone was 5 yards away from him to even give him a shot at catching the ball in the end zone.
Jamar
I made a note of that one too. They're not on the same page yet. And there were T had a great game. There were 2 or 3 plays throughout that game where T zigged and Joe zagged, and they're still not all on the same page at all.
Which goes back to what we were talking about last week, which is figuring out meaningful snaps for them. Doesn't have to be a lot, but meaningful snaps in the preseason. So we kick some of this rust off, and we don't act like week 1 is our 4th preseason game. And you sure, I already took the tequila. If you didn't see it, it's gone. I know Heath is driving his stars. We didn't blow the victory horn. There's still no quacker for the year. I'm just shaking my head. Like I said, I'm not.
Go ahead. What confused me with the lack of passing offense, even though we're an air attack team, we had 15 total rush attempts on the game. Mixon had 13, and then Chase Brown and Burrow each had 1. How, if your throwing offense is not working, how do you not try and at least ground and pound a little bit to then open up the offense.
Well, let me go
because
one
every
step
team
further.
knows we throw.
Let me go one step further with you, little buddy. I'd love to see how many yards did Mixon have? Because I got to tell you, I don't remember him getting stopped for less than 5 or 6 on most plays.
Mixon had 59 on the 59 rushing and 36 receiving.
So 60 yards on 14 carry. I mean, that's 4 yards a carry. And some of them were tough carries.
Yeah. No, Riley, I'm glad you brought that up because I made a mental note of that 2-1. I think we waited too long to establish the run. We really didn't establish it, or at least try to establish it till the second quarter, second half. And to your point, Heath, Mixon ran well. He had some great run. How about that one run on the last touchdown drive when at least my reaction was, no, why are you running? And he carried 11 guys for a 9-yard gain.
He got game tackled at the 1 yard and still went 7 more because it was 2nd and 2 after that play.
Yeah. Carried the pile inside the 5, was contacted a yard or 2 off the line of scrimmage.
He looks good. He looks young. He looks fresh.
I agree.
We need to ride him.
Yeah.
And more importantly, the offensive line was giving him time. So to Riley's point, I didn't really say that during the game, but it's a good point looking at it. But I'll tell you, the pass blocking is just not there yet.
No, I thought, listen, with the scheme we had, that I'm not blaming the offensive line today. I'm not.
Mm-mm.
No, this was on the defensive line. This was on second down defense, situational football. This was on not making the plays we needed to make. We had 2 pivotal plays. If one of those doesn't happen and goes our way, like we get the Logan Wilson fumble, we don't throw the pick, we probably win this game.
Yeah.
Despite everything we talked about.
Yep.
But you know what, Mark? We didn't, and now we're 0-2 going, I don't even know. Who do we have next week?
What did I say? We didn't make the plays.
Who do we have next week?
Rams, Monday
night. And one comment I want. Oh, sorry, Mark.
I'll say we'll get our win.
I wanted to say on the. Sorry.
Go for it.
The one thing I was going to say on the offensive line, only 1 sack, and frankly, it was a sack that Burrow shouldn't have taken. But you got a combination of Joe looking panicked, but he's getting pressured a lot, and they're trying to get the ball out quick. So it's almost like they're doing okay, but not great. He doesn't have a lot of time back there, and it looks by design, but he looks panicked and rushed a lot, but he's not getting sacked.
So,
We will talk about one thing that we kind of touched on it before. Charlie had a nice punt return there too. I mean, I know that's why, we picked him up to give us another slot receiver, but that was a beautiful return, and we haven't had one of those in a while.
No, so it was the one special teams, a very special teams moment. But we knew he could make this team based on his punt return ability, and he's showing his worth, but not for that, this wouldn't have been that close. I mean, we got a special team that's what kept the game close at halftime. Because
at the end of the day, Zach's supposed to be this brilliant offensive mind. You gotta, if something's not working, you got to be able to figure it out and fix something quick. I mean, I know that's a lot of scheming during the week, but at the end of the day, you got to make plays.
This game's not on Zach. Players didn't execute.
I didn't say that it was on Zach.
Yeah,
but you got to give your players the ability to succeed too, and I'm not sure that we did.
This one's on not executing.
This one's on the D.
Yeah. So,
I mean, if your tackle leader on the game is your free safety, the ball's being chucked down the field and being caught, and there's just no way around that.
Or they're going 7, 8, 10 yards on the run, which they did a lot of times.
Yeah. Good catch, Riley.
No, you're.
But on that note, Dax Hill had a couple of really good plays. Real nice.
We're going to do this every week? Are we going to do it every week? The Dax Hill?
The Dax Hill.
Heath Goldman hated Dax Hill tour.
Hey, I didn't like him last year. I'm allowed to change my opinion.
Good, change it
By
quick.
the way, Riley, to your point, not only was Dax Hill the leading tackler, but Nick Scott, who missed at least a quarter and a half, was tied for third.
Yeah,
that's good.
Well, I have Dax has 9 with 2 assists. Jermaine has 8 with 2 assists, and obviously these get tweaked when they go through. So
I got something different, but he's up there.
So, but yeah, like I said, you know what you don't see in any of those? Where's a defensive lineman? Some tackle. Where's Hubbard?
Hubbard had 4. BJ Hill 3, DJ Reader 2,
They need to be up
2, Carter 2.
top, not your safeties.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's the problem. So our run defense, our pressure in our QB, like I said, it was just frustrating to watch. But just and usually I complain about situational football on third down. Hey, we didn't get off the field on third downs. I don't fault a defense when they're in a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. I just don't. You can't continually stop those. And Harbaugh's going to go for them on 4th anyway.
Right.
Got to be that
the Lamar. Why wouldn't you?
Was the 2nd and 22 when we let them get 19.
Yep.
And I said Heath, right before it, I said we need to keep this at like a 3rd and 15, 3rd and 12.
We'll see next week, but Joe was gunning that calf after he came off late in the 4th. So we'll see how that thing is hangs up.
He's going to be fine. It's just time. Pulled muscles are time. So, all right. Well, this is a frustrating game. Can we come up with? We had the special teams comment. Anything else? We actually showed signs of life on offense in the second half. And here I'm going to give you guys something so nobody goes, get off the ledge right now. We were 0-2 last year. I don't like this 0-2. It's only one more divisional loss than last year. We were 0-2 with the 1 divisional loss. We're 0-2 with 2, but we've got the Rams at home on Monday night next week in the Ring of Honor game. I mean, I can't see us losing that game, but
you told me you felt good about this game too.
I did feel good about this game. Our offense showed up. We showed up more than like I said, we had no signs of life last week. I now see a heartbeat. I see appendages moving. I mean, we're bringing the patient back, but like I'm trying to come up with something positive here. We're trying to end on the positive. So we'll get our first win a week from tomorrow. And we'll start a run. We hadn't lost a game. Our last home loss before today was week 1 last year at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
We had not lost a home game since we lost our long snapper, couldn't make a field goal, couldn't make an extra point.
Is that the positive thing that we're finishing on?
So, yeah, I'm finishing on. We're going to start another run. Every streak starts with 1. Starts Monday night back in the jungle. We don't lose another home game. I said it here, right there. We don't lose another home game.
Ring of Honor 2 next Monday. Boomer goes in. They did a thing on CBS. So yeah.
So there you go, Boomer and Chad. So all right, any last minute comments before we wrap this up and I go have another shot of tequila and upload this? So anything?
Can't wait to watch it back on Twitter. I look forward to it.
Well, yeah. That's always the famous line from
Twitter. I thought it was X.
Mike Schmidt, when he played for the Phillies, he said, I had the joy of playing for Philadelphia in the evening and the agony of reading about it the next day in the paper.
Yep.
Were a big thing. Now it's the agony of reading about it on social media. So, well, we will see. But all right, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. This is always by fans, for fans. We get it up for you right away. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, give us the thumbs up. And kudos to the Ravens for coming in and executing their plan. I'm not gonna. We lost the game. This was on us.
They beat us. They beat us for sure.
Yes, they came in, executed their plan, and we're gonna have to pay back the favor in Baltimore later this year. So when we're firing on all cylinders. So all right, with that, I'm gonna say, hoot, everybody. Have a good week.
Hoot.